Hello folks, today I've got 6 MLB picks to share with you on Friday the 13th. Ooh, that's scary. First, let's take a look at how our picks did the last time I talked to you, which was for Wednesday, sorry. So I shared 8 picks on that day and we finished with a 4-4 record. And that translated into a loss of half a unit. More precisely, a $100 bettor lost 59 bucks by following those betting tips. Now it's time to end the week on a high note. But first, I want to update you on how our lobster bets have done. Remember that this is what I believe the best wager across all sports every single day. Well, let me share my screen. So on Wednesday, I took Brian Wu from the Mariners to record under 4.5 strikeouts, and he finished the game with 3 punch-outs, so this was another winner. And yesterday, I took over 1.5 goals to be scored in the initial period of the Oilers-Panthers game, and since the score was 3-0 in favor of Florida through the initial period, we won the bet again. By the way, what a comeback by the Oilers to tie the series at 2 games apiece. So this means that since I started offering this service of sharing my top play across all sports, we've accumulated 40 wins versus 11 losses. Now this column here has a 1 if the bet was a winner and 0 if it lost. So we had right here a run of, and this is our record, we won 11 consecutive lobster bets. Then we lost 4 in a row, but we stormed back by winning 10 in a row. Then we lost a bet, won 3 straight, had 1 loss, and then we are now riding a current 4-game winning streak. And by the way, and this is important to notice, now I am offering a special weekend package where you can get the daily lobster bet today, Saturday, and Sunday. However, pay attention to the fact that today's lobster bet has already been shared to my current members, and it concerns the afternoon game between the Pirates and the Cubs, which starts at 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time. So hurry up to get this valuable play on the Pittsburgh-Chicago game in MLB. This is the play that I like the most by far today. All right, now let's move on to today's free plays, and the first one is supported by a betting system that is rated 5 stars out of 5. It has done very well over many years. It's called the Cold Teams Matchup number 2. And the rules are very simple and yet super effective. Bet the home team if the road team lost 1, 2, or 3 straight games, whereas the home club is undergoing a losing skid of length at least 4. Now, can you guess which team fits under these rules? Well, in the Miami-Washington game, Miami has lost 1 game in a row, whereas Washington has lost 5 consecutive matches. So by following the rules here, we must bet the home team, because this is a contrarian betting system, as most of my betting systems are. We tend to go against the grain, and that's why I am opting for the Nationals money line. Some typical odds right now are minus 115 in American format, which is the same as 1.87 if you are more comfortable with decimal odds. I have decided to attribute to this pick a 4-star grade, so it was close from being a 5-star play, which then is called a premium pick. But this is not quite a premium pick, but it was quite close. Like I said, Washington has lost 5 games in a row. They were swept by the Mets before that, they had lost their final 2 games against the Texas Rangers, so that's why they have dropped 5 consecutive matches. And by the way, this betting system was developed in 2019. This is when I developed many of my MLB systems. And at the time, I had put my hands on a data set containing all information about all MLB games between 2010 and 2016. And during this time period, Oh no, it's not shown on your screen, but during this time period, we accumulated very nice profit. And then starting in 2019, I started tracking myself the performance of my betting systems every single day. And this betting angle generated more profit from 2019 to 2024. Now, what about this year? So far, we have had 9 qualifying plays, and they have posted a 5-4 record for tiny gains. So, I really trust this betting angle a lot. The starter for Miami is Edward Cabrera, whereas Mitchell Parker gets the nod for the Nationals. Now, Cabrera's ERA is better than Parker's, 3.99 versus 4.44, but Cabrera's whip statistic is a lot worse than Parker's. In fact, Cabrera's whip stat is 1.47, whereas Parker's whip stat is 1.25, so that's a significant difference. And to me, the whip stat is a much better indicator of future success. Well, in short, Cabrera has been quite inefficient. In fact, he has failed to complete 6 innings in all of his 10 starts in the 2025 campaign. And meanwhile, it's been a roller coaster ride for Parker this season. He got off to a great start to his 2025 season. If you focus on his first 5 outings this year, he gave up a total of 5 earned runs in 32 and 1/3 innings. So if you do the calculations, in those 5 games, he posted a 1.39 ERA. But then he went on a stretch where he gave up at least 3 earned runs in 7 consecutive outings. And now he finally had a good performance 6 days ago against the Texas Rangers. He surrendered just 1 earned run in 6 innings of work. Now, so I really love the Nationals play, and the final nail in the coffin is the fact that since 2023, Parker's home ERA is 2.86 versus 6.39 on the road. He's been much better at home, and of course, he's playing at home today. Also, Parker has faced the Marlins on 4 occasions in his career, and in those 4 contests, his ERA has been 2.01, which is fantastic. So in short, I really love the Washington Nationals money line for today. Up next, in the Toronto-Philadelphia game, I am betting the Phillies to win straight up, and the line is about the same as the one on Washington. I'm not as confident about this play. It receives a 2-star grade. I know that it feels quite risky to be backing a reeling club like Philadelphia against a red-hot team like Toronto, but I'm going to do it anyway. The Phillies had a stretch of 10 games where they won a single match. So in other words, they had a stretch of going 1-9. But now they have won 2 out of 3 against a strong Cubs team, so that will boost their confidence for sure. And speaking of confidence, Ranger Suarez is probably full of it. He's been rock solid in 2025, as shown by his superb 2.70 ERA, along with a 1.13 whip stat. In fact, he was bad in his first outing of the year, but then he's been very good in his next 6 appearances on the mound. Meanwhile, it's another pretty good season for Kevin Gausman, but he surrendered exactly 3 runs in each of his past 2 appearances, so he's not invincible at all. Also, the Phillies this year have been very solid at home, and Gausman in his career owns a 1-4 record against the Phillies. He does not enjoy facing this opponent, so I've decided to ultimately go with the Phillies moneyline in this match. All right, what's my third pick? Well, before I reveal it, I must tell you that it is supported by a betting system called the Snap Winning Streak. The rules go like this. Bet against the road team if they've lost their previous game after winning at least 5 in a row. Now, let's focus on the Cincinnati Reds for a minute. So they are on the road today at Detroit. They lost their previous game after winning 5 consecutive contests. So by following the rules, we must fade the Reds, and that's why pick number 3 goes to the Tigers moneyline at odds that are around minus 130 right now, or 1.77 in decimal. And this pick also receives a 4-star grade, just like the Nationals. Give me a second. So basically, the Reds swept the D-backs, and then they won the first 2 at Cleveland before getting hammered 11-2 in the final game of the series against the Guardians. So to me, that's a sign that the party is over for Cincinnati, and I expect them to lose a second consecutive game. So this system also produced good profit from 2010 to 2016 in the big data set that I told you about earlier. And then when I started tracking its performance myself from 2019 until last year, it also showed good positive profit. And now this year it's been struggling a little bit as we have obtained a 7-11 record so far, but I still trust this system very much. I'm not going to let just 18 games squash my confidence about this betting angle. I really love its logic. Like I said, so you're betting against a team that had a great run, but then once they lose a game, their confidence gets shaken and they tend to lose a second consecutive match. And also, it picks teams wisely. We have just few selections every month. I'm not a big fan of some of my systems that produce too many picks. They are not picky enough, in my opinion. Of course, we also have the fact that the Tigers have been great at home at Comerica Park. They have posted a 23-9 record this season. Now, Nick Martinez gets the nod for the Reds, and he's a pretty good starter, but can he also deliver on the road against a quality offense? Well, you need to ask the question, because this year his road ERA is 4.76 versus 2.52 at home. So he needs to prove that he can also perform at a high level on the road, and I'm not sure he is going to accomplish that feat today at the Tigers. So that's my third pick for today, the Tigers moneyline. All right, up next, we have a pick rated 5 stars out of 5. It is a player prop bet. I really like Matt Olson from the Braves to record over half a run. So in other words, we're betting on the fact that Matt Olson will score at least a run. He will cross home plate at least once today against Colorado. And to me, the odds are very, very reasonable at minus 125. I think the fair line should be something like minus 155. So we are getting great value here, and that's why it gets rated 5 stars. So since May 16th, Matt Olson has scored a run in 13 of 23 matches. So that's a 56.5% success rate. And now, on top of that, he's facing German Marquez, whose 7.00 ERA is abysmal. Marquez's home stadium is Coors Field, who is known to be hitter-friendly. But believe it or not, Marquez has been a lot worse on the road than at home, which is quite strange. Since 2023, his road ERA is 7.69 versus 4.72 at home, where he's supposed to give up even more runs in theory. So I really love this play. Matt Olson over half a run scored. Up next, I'm taking a pretty big road underdog. Are you ready for that play? I like the Athletics to pull off the upset in Kansas City. The best current odds are plus 140, Most bookies have a line that's hovering around plus 130, plus 135. But as you can see from the screenshot, I found one. In fact, that was BetDSI that offers plus 140, which is the same as 2.4 in decimal format. Now, this play is rated 2 stars out of 5. I think the Athletics have a shot of winning this match, but I'm not going to bet my house on it. Maybe half a unit seems like a good recommendation in this case. Well, is it just me or the line is too high in this case? I know that the Athletics are not a great club, but they're trying to right the ship, as shown by the fact that they have won 3 out of the past 7 games overall. And also, Kansas City is not doing any better. If you focus on their last 6 games, they have presented a 1-5 record. And also, during the entire season, the Royals offense has scored the 3rd fewest runs in the big leagues. So they are susceptible to being the victim of upsets during the season. Starting for the ace is Luis Severino. He has struggled in his past 2 games, and maybe that contributes to the line being that high. But in the end, Severino is not necessarily a bad hurler. And also, if you look at his previous 3 starts, before those 2 bad appearances, he had given up a total of 3 earned runs in 18 innings of work, so that's a 1.5 ERA. Starting for KC is Michael Wacha, who is a steady pitcher, but he's not necessarily a world beater either. So I could see a tight game finishing 3-2 or 4-2. So to me, the ace have a better shot to win this game than what the line currently indicates. I feel like we have some positive expected value at such a at such a high price. All right, so that's pick number 5, the Athletics plus 140. Or even if the line is plus 130 with your bookie, I feel like we still have good value. I would not go lower than plus 125 though, so that would be my minimum acceptable price. Finally, my last pick for Friday the 13th concerns the San Francisco-LA game. And if you have been following my work this season, you won't necessarily be surprised by the play. I'm taking the Dodgers to win straight up against the Giants. And why am I saying that it's not surprising for some of my loyal viewers? It's because I have mentioned on many occasions this season how Logan Webb does not look like the same guy at all, whether he's on the road or at home. The difference is very striking. Since 2023, his road ERA is 4.17 versus 2.32 at home. Now, in 13 starts, Yamamoto has given more than 3 runs on just 2 occasions, against the Yankees and at Arizona. So we're talking here about teams that have scored the 3rd and 4th most runs in the big leagues this season, respectively. So nothing to be ashamed of. So in all of his other starts, he has squandered a maximum of 3 earned runs. And now he is at home against a team whose offense ranks in the middle of the pack. Now let's take a look at how Logan Webb has performed against the Dodgers in his career. He has made 16 career starts against the Dodgers, and in those matches, he has posted a 4-6 record, coupled with a 4.11 ERA, so that's not so good. It's also worth mentioning how the Giants have lost 8 of their last 9 visits at Dodger Stadium. And finally, the Dodgers fit under another of my strong betting systems, which is called the Big Upset number 2. It recommends betting against any team that meets the following three criteria. The team must have lost its previous game to a team whose money line was greater than plus 150. Also, this team must be facing a different opponent today, and they must be underdogs. So let's verify that the Dodgers qualify under this system? Well, if you focus on the Giants, they did lose their previous game, which was a big upset because they lost 8-7 against Colorado, and the Rockies' money line in this match was around plus 170. So that was indeed a big upset. Now the Giants are indeed now facing a different opponent. They played against Colorado, now they're playing LA, and the Giants are also underdogs today. So if you follow the rules stated on your screen, you must fade the team in question. So that's why I am opting for the Dodgers to win outright. So that's my sixth pick of the day. All right, so this is it. So here are my 6 Friday picks. So again, a quick reminder that if you want to sign up to receive the daily Lobster Bet in your mailbox for today, Saturday, and Sunday, I have set up a special weekend package for you, but you need to act quickly because today's Lobster Bet concerns the Cubs-Pirates game that starts at 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time. If you sign up later, well, you can still do it, but you will only get the picks for Saturday and Sunday. And hopefully, we're going to keep crushing it. So again, in the last 19 days, we have obtained 17 wins versus just 2 losses. All right, so I'm Professor MJ. It's been a pleasure talking to you today, and I wish you a great weekend, my friend. I'll see you next week for more MLB predictions.